Oh, happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me.
To me.
Why you?
I had a birthday this week.
Well, I had a birthday this week too, but right now it's about me. Happy birthday to me. Well, you should say happy birthday to you. That would make much sense.
But I'm older, so it should be happy birthday to me.
That's true. We have a 10 years difference. That's right. We have a 10 years difference, so maybe. But shouldn't the youngest?
I am not 10 years
older than me. Happy birthday to me. Ricky's 10 years older than me. Is that how we're going to do it? What?
No, we're just going to start the show.
We're going to start the show? Okay.
It's the Speaking Nerdy podcast with my older than he likes to admit co-host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And the man who began time from the very big time, Mr. Ricky Pope, whatever that means. Man who started time when there were time, the Doctor Who of the prehistoric era. Well, that was fun. We started off on the right foot today, didn't we? Oh my goodness!
That was funny.
That was
fun.
This is going to be
by the way.
Well, happy birthday to you, my friend. Yes, we both
got another year older.
That's right. That's right. You can see it all here. So yeah, this is going to be jam packed tonight, folks. So just understand this is a Star Wars extravaganza. If you've been following Kenobi, well, so is we. And what's funny about this, originally we had planned every week on Friday to cover Kenobi that was supposed to come out on Friday. One episode a week.
For 6 weeks.
For 6 weeks. And those scoundrels, what do? They wait Friday to put out 2 of them. And fine. They put 2 of them. And then next Wednesday, they changed it. So now we're covering 3 episodes because...
So they basically took half of our plan for the next month and a half.
I know, exactly.
And they slammed it all into this week.
So we got some last minute, scheduling to do here pretty quick because Kenobi is not lasting 6 weeks for us. It's coming up to the end soon. But by the way, it's been really good. And everything is Star Wars tonight, so it's everything from our nerdy news and so on. And
just as a reminder, if you're watching us live, go ahead and comment. Let us know where you're watching from.
Yes, please do.
If we say something wrong, feel free to correct us.
Because
let us know what your thoughts are.
Please. Please.
We would love to have your comments.
I would love to have your comments, yes.
And as long as they're not too obscene, we'll try to put them on the screen.
Dirty.
That sounds dirty.
That's dirty.
We have that. We don't have the
Well, yeah, I do. Well, we do have a soundboard, but I got to scroll all the way down for this.
Oh, that's nasty.
Exactly. I have to scroll all the way down to say that. So anyway, we have so much going on, and I think we should start with some nerdy news later on, before we get into Kenobi, last Friday was Star Wars Celebration 2022 in Anaheim, and they had a ton of news came out. I mean,
my goodness,
redonkulous with so much was going on.
Lots of trailers.
I mean, that's
cool.
Isn't that kind of cool? Yeah. Well, what's amazing is that there's so much content, and you kind of go, is there too much Star Wars content? I say never.
Never.
But number one is one of the first things, the Tales of the Jedi was announced. It's about the origin story for one, Ahsoka, when she was a baby. Actually, and this is really interesting, Liam Neeson returns as Qui-Gon Jinn in Dave Filoni's Star Wars Tales of the Jedi.
Nice.
Now it's funny.
And this is going to be an anthology.
Yes,
so
it's going to be
each episode or each couple of episodes. I'm a little unclear because I think I heard Ahsoka gets 2 or 3 episodes.
She may have. I don't know, but I know
but each episode is kind of standalone, and may or may not deal with different individual Jedis and how they came to be.
Exactly. They alongside the younger version of Count Dooku, which will be an incredible, interesting to see. The series also tells stories involving Mace Windu, Anakin Skywalker, and Ahsoka, and then whoever else. They had at the showing, they did have some video, but has not been released to the public yet outside of the celebration.
There's probably leaks.
Yeah, it's probably a lot of leaks. And also for the younger crowd, it's the Young Jedi Adventures is what
Yes.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
All I can think of is this is going to be Ewoks or droids for Jedi, for younglings.
Yeah,
That's what this is going to be.
As long as it's not the Ewoks episode series back in the 1970s and 80s.
I'm thinking of the cartoon Ewoks.
Oh, yes,
from
exactly.
From probably the late 80s, early 90s, maybe.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly when the Ewoks came out. But there was like Ewoks and then there was droids. They both came out close to the same time. All animated.
Yeah, it's set during the High Republic era, and
okay.
Yeah, so the series follows younglings as they study ways of the Force. So, and that's coming out spring 2023, as far as we have right now on that. And we did a show a while back on Visions, which was originally what it was that Lucasfilms basically told Japanese animators from Japanese studios to take our story content and have, be original, which they did, and then there was some really awesome anime that came out of that. But they're actually, have a season 2. It's returning, a volume 2, they like to say, in spring 2023. But
I'm excited about this.
But what they're going to do, it's going to be no longer. It won't be the Japanese production. It's going to outside of Japan. The second series, it's going to include episodes produced in South Korea, France, Spain, India, and the UK, Ireland, South Africa.
I'm a little bummed.
Yeah, because I really like.
I was hoping we could get some follow-ups.
I am too. Especially the my favorite one was the Ronin. I would have loved to see the Ronin. That was a great episode.
When I saw that this was going to happen, I was thinking it was going to be the same. I didn't read too much about it.
Yeah,
I just assumed it was going to be the same Japanese animation
houses,
exactly. And hopefully some of them would continue their stories, and then some would just create something new, which would be fine. And I'm not opposed to this idea of spreading it out to different countries. I'm just disappointed that we're probably not going to see follow-ups.
Well, and that's the thing. It's not. I'm fascinated with other countries will do with this, but there's so many storytelling that I wanted from the first vision. Yeah. And so there was a lot of good stuff. But anyhow, I'm sure this will be awesome. So
it'll be fun.
I will be trying that out. And also, Lucasfilm video games, they will have for the Switch, it will be Knights. We'll have a Knights Republic 4. If you have a Nintendo Switch, they'll have a bundle here pretty soon where you have Knights of the Old Republic 1 and Knights of the Old Republic 2. Now, this is not going to be remastered. This is going to be basically the same that you can remember back in the days of the PC. But currently, and I'm waiting for this, Asprey is currently working on Knights of the original Knights of the Old Republic remakes, and they're doing that from scratch. So really? if you're a big KOTOR fan like I am, the remake, they have no release date on the remake. It's like I said, it's supposed to be like, from scratch, totally like for the PS5, the PC, Xbox Series. I look forward to that. Other thing I look forward to in gaming is Jedi Survivor. This is the continuation of the Fallen Order, which means you know the ending now. But
every time I see this title,
yes,
all I can think of is the TV show Survivor.
Yeah, I know.
And it's Jedi Survivor. So all I can picture is a bunch of Jedi stuck on a desert island, not wearing quite enough clothing.
Exactly.
And some random guy in a hat from Australia making them play games.
Yeah, I mean, you would have something like, Windu on the other side by himself with a photo going, Qui-Gon is really getting on my nerves here lately. he's been thinking his lightsaber is bigger than mine, and we know that's not the truth. That kind of thing. So, that's the kind of thing I was thinking of, that kind of reality show.
We know that's not what it's going to be.
That's going to be a great parody if someone could do a parody on that right there.
It will be. It will be. I guarantee it.
Now, this is a little bit out of the Star Wars universe, but it's still Lucasfilms. Willow also was shown.
Yes.
Now, mind you, these are all that I just mentioned. Pretty much has trailers, and Willow has a trailer as well. And of course, this relationship to our little Ewok buddy, Warren. Warwick Davis. Apparently in the series is totally dedicated to Warwick. He is now a wizard, which before he was not a wizard back then he was a wizard in training. So anyway, the show premieres November the 30th on Disney Plus. I'm telling you what, a lot of this stuff is happening this year.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, it's insane.
This is the Disney Plus year.
Yes,
there's so much Disney Plus stuff.
I mean, in the beginning, The Mandalorian was the one that kept people back. I mean, Mandalorian is basically what kept people watching the Disney Plus. Pretty soon, and of course, at that time, a lot of people were saying, "Okay, I'm done with that season. Unsubscribe.
I'll cancel now." Yeah,
but now there's too much going on. If you're a fan of any of this stuff, then it's.
And they're dripping it out week after week.
Yeah.
And making it cross months.
Yeah, that's the key. Cross months. Yes. If you look at the dates, they're crossing. Yes. So
they get at least 2 months.
They're going to get 2 months out of you.
And then they're going to put something else in.
Yeah, exactly.
Just in time for you to have to keep it for the next month.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can watch that. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to. Yeah, I'm not saying they're doing it on purpose, but they're totally doing it on purpose.
It's a small world after all. But
yes.
Yeah, so they want that money, and it's smart. I can understand. They want to keep subscribers. I mean, so this next one, I'm a little surprised. I have not heard before, but it came out on Celebration. It is Skeleton Crew.
This was a surprise. Nobody knew about this one.
With Jude Law is actually he stars in this, and it was kind of surprising.
Is it going to be live action or animation?
I think it's live action, but it's as Jude Law is coming out, and it's coming out in 2023. The series is coming of age tale set in a sci-fi universe. In addition, Law will also star the kids. I don't understand. Will also star kids. Though we won't know they will be. I'm not for sure. It does
follows a group of kids that are about 10 years old who get lost in the Star Wars universe. It
says a live action series. Okay, it does.
So that is the slug from IMDb Pro. Follows a group of kids who are about 10 years old who get lost in the Star Wars universe.
Gotcha.
So is this kids that exist in the Star Wars universe, or is this like the 1980s Dungeons and Dragons cartoon? They go to modern kids go to an amusement park.
Yeah, I don't know.
And they take the ride and they end up in the world of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, I don't.
So is this like a group of 10-year-olds are on a ride at Disney World and end up in the Star Wars universe?
Yeah, I think it's all to me.
I'm not sure exactly what this is going to be.
They do say it is a live action series. I just found
Jude
that.
Law, on IMDb, Jude Law is the only person actor listed. Credited.
Yeah.
John Watts is directing, and Christopher Ford is writing,
which is collaborated on Spider-Man: Homecoming.
And claims to be produced by Favreau and Filoni.
That's what I've seen so far, yeah.
So if they're involved, it's just got a good shot.
One thing I am looking forward to this next one, and I couldn't figure out whether it was a one-time deal or a series, but it's Andor, which I'm excited about. It's, of course, as anyone doesn't know, Andor, it's a Rogue One spin-off series. That's coming in August. This is coming in August.
Yeah, it's going to be fast.
The upcoming Disney Plus series stars Diego Luna, who is representing the role as Cassian Andor from Rogue One.
And IMDb is listing it as a TV series.
Okay.
and 2 seasons of 12 episodes each. So this will be the longest season of a Star Wars television show that Disney Plus has put out so far.
They have so much
else has been this long. That's live action.
Yeah.
I think the Bad Batch was probably 12 episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
But it wasn't live action.
Well, this is interesting because there's so much backstory that you can do with this. I mean, so it's just full of nuggets that you can just use. So it's awesome. Rogue One was one of my favorites, so I loved it.
And the trailer for Andor has been released, and it looks fantastic.
Yes, it has been. So
we're going to see Mon Mothma come back.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be darker. It's going to be grittier than a lot of the things we've seen.
I think so too.
Not to get too much into what we're about to start talking about with Kenobi, but I think it's going to feel more like that.
I agree with you. More of a desperation, dark times.
Yep, I think it's going to feel less like The Mandalorian and more like what we're seeing with Kenobi.
Just from the trailer, if you haven't seen the trailer, it's almost as Cassian Andor. It's almost he's not sold in with the Resistance yet. It's from my understanding. The next one, of course, you cannot go without talking about Star Wars, The Mandalorian, the season 3 debut.
I can't. I was going to whistle the song, but I can't do it.
Didn't do it?
I can't remember it right off the top of my head.
Well, it's okay. Don't worry about it. Which is a great score, by the way.
Yes, it is.
Season 3 debuts.
Now, that had a trailer, and I saw the leak.
Oh, did you?
And it looks really good.
Does it really?
It looks really good. I saw the leak, and then it disappeared.
Man,
Disney was hardcore on everybody doing copyright strikes after the leaks.
Oh, I bet they did.
It got leaked on Twitter.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, a lot of people, because that stuff was released during the actual during the celebration.
Yeah, during celebration.
Yeah, so
this was obviously somebody with a cell phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to show. Trying not to make it look like they had the cell phone out, because you could see like the whole screen, and then about halfway through it drops down, and you can't quite see the whole screen.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Of course, they said February 2023. And of course, executive producer Jon Favreau announced that Mando will be finally headed to Mandalore, the home planet of the Mandalorians, in search of forgiveness. Favreau also shared that the fans should expect to see some familiar faces in the new season, with Carl Weathers, Katie Sackhoff returning to play the Greek Karanga, and Bo-Katan Kryze, respectively. Now, which is awesome. Now, the next one I'm really excited about. This really, I think, out of all the news for me, this is exciting. This is the Star Wars Rebel. Ezra Bridgers, Sabine Wren, and Hera Syndulla will appear in Ahsoka live action.
Wow.
That's a big deal. A lot of people were hinting about it, was talking about the connection. If you don't remember, at the very end of Rebels, Sabine went to go find Ezra, and of course, Ezra.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and Ezra was basically with Thrawn, and of course
being saved by space whales.
Space. Space whales, of course, just like for you Trekkies, Voyage Home. That's
my favorite gag on the show.
I know it.
Every time I get to say space whales and we get to play that, it lights up my face.
When I saw that, I'm scrolling. I had to scroll 5 pages down to get to that. So that's awesome. But yeah, they said the trailer isn't available online yet, but it is confirmed that Sabine Wren is during a panel at Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim, and Baby Yoda makes his appearance. But anyway, going into the trailer was shown exclusively at the convention and isn't available online. It revealed that former Jedi Ahsoka Tano, of course, Rosie O'Dawson, will team up with the Ghost crew. to find ally Ezra Bridgers, essentially making the show a live-action follow-up of the CGI animated series Rebels, which is awesome. So they're making that canon. Rebels, which ended in 2018, was set in the years before the original Star Wars. Ezra vanished in hyperspace, again with the whales, to unknown fate, along with the Imperial villain Grand Admiral Thrawn, which I'm excited because I've been waiting. Yes. I'm so excited, and I'm glad that they kept him, because Timothy Thawne, that was his brainchild in some of the greatest books. And at one point, it was no longer canon. It was I think it was retcon. I think they just
they kind of wiped it out completely. Yeah. And then they kind of reinvented it.
Which is funny. Don't you notice that maybe they're kind of grabbing the buffet of the legends and deciding, okay, this is good stuff. We're bringing it in. Yeah. So I'm
now,
glad.
The way I heard this story about the Ezra Bridger thing is that the trailer doesn't directly imply that they're searching for him.
Okay, yes.
But what I heard is that somebody in the audience yelled out, "Where's Ezra Bridger?" And for the first time, because apparently Filoni has been very sketchy. Yes. Anytime anybody because anytime there's a Rebels, panel, somebody yells that out.
Exactly.
And in this time, Filoni kind of looked coyly and said, "Funny you asked that. I know where he is."
That's awesome.
And so now the assumption is
exactly
that is what this episode. Everybody has always assumed that's what this was going to be.
No, exactly.
But the fact that Filoni just said, "I know where Ezra is."
Well, back in Mandalorian season 2, Ahsoka was hunting Thrawn down. So maybe it's a part of the search for Ezra. I putting 2 to 2 together, maybe that's part of it. So I hope so.
Sense. It makes sense story wise. I think it'll be great.
I think so too. I
might be having an internet problem, by the way.
You kind of did some freeze frame there, but let's pretend like you're not having any. And actually, I'm going to. For tonight, we have so much content. We are going to skip stupid news. I have some, but we'll do it for next week because we'll do it for next week. But
we only have 3 episodes of Obi-Wan to cover.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that amazing?
Crazy,
amazing. But yeah, let's get into that, man. Kenobi. So,
yes,
your impression so far?
I'm really enjoying it. Yeah. I think it's really good. I like it. It feels like it's really, really well done.
I think so.
Like they've really put the money into it. They're not skimping on talent. They're not skimping on effects.
Yeah, definitely.
They're not skipping on the set design or the look. They're putting it all out there. I mean, this could be a Star Wars movie, and I wouldn't. Oh,
I totally agree.
Flinch.
I think my biggest complaint is, we have a lot of haters out there. Star Wars fans can be the most toxic people out there.
So before we go there, should we do the spoiler alert?
Oh yeah, let's go spoiler alert. Thank you.
Because I think I know what you're going to talk about.
Well,
it is a pretty big spoiler.
It's a pretty
show.
Yeah, exactly. So number one is this. It's really easy to judge a show by watching one episode, 2 episodes. Yeah. And so you have all the hate or you have all the criticism, but in this particular, there were 6 episodes, and if you put them all together as a movie, you probably have a different feel afterwards. So sometimes it's really hard to judge by episodes. The first episode, like I said, I liked the episode, and then all suddenly we started getting this. I call it Reva Gate, and
yes,
and the deal is that for me, race and gender has nothing to do with it. Quality is actor and the character. Now, at first, it was very hard for me to get with this character. I didn't feel like she fit. I'm talking about the character. When I think of Inquisitors,
that particular character kind of popped out a little bit in that first episode.
Yeah, I mean, it has nothing to do with the actor, but I'm talking about the character itself. You know, and when I think of Inquisitors, I think of, I don't know, of a different species. I think of, I don't know. They didn't come across to me as she was an Inquisitor. Now, as time went on to the third series, she grew, the character grew on me, and so I think, you know, give her a chance. You know, the actors.
I'm the same way.
Yeah,
I think either the writing for her wasn't as good in the first episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Or she wasn't completely fleshed out.
I think that was a part. That's how I felt.
Which, this is interesting. I read this somewhere online that this is one of those shows that started a full production before COVID.
Yeah, okay. There you go.
And then during COVID, when they weren't shooting, they actively were rewriting.
Yeah, exactly.
So then they came back in and started producing again.
Yeah.
So it's possible that her character might have actually changed some.
Well, that could be. That could be.
I will say, by the third episode, the character's kind of growing on me.
Yeah.
You know, she is the bad guy. She's there to be hated.
Yeah.
As a character, you know, you're supposed to be rooting for Obi-Wan.
Exactly.
You're supposed to hate the bad guy. She's the bad guy. But goofy people that hate on the actor who plays the bad guy is just lame.
It is lame to me. I think she's a fine actor, and I agree. I don't think she was. I think it was just the first episode was just, she wasn't fleshed out. You didn't get to know her character. It was very abrasive at first, but by the third episode, I had this better understanding of who she was, and I think we will continue. I have some, you know, we can jump all over the place because this is how we do the show. But staying on Reva, there is. I have my predictions, and I don't think it may not be correct or not, but I have a feeling that her anger towards Kenobi has to do, and I bet she was a Padawan of Order 66 during Order 66.
So there is, you
don't think so?
Well, okay. So I think this is one of those things.
Not a Padawan, but a youngling. I mean, sorry.
I'm pretty sure I read this.
Yeah.
But I don't remember if it was from a reputable source or if it was from a random person on Facebook. I am looking for the photo right now.
Yeah.
Yes, right here. Okay. Yeah. It's really hard to see, but there is a there's an African American girl, the taller one on the left, and somebody was. You know, it's an African American girl. She's kind of got long hair, in braids. Somebody was suggesting that might have been her.
Well, and that's, again, I'm totally speculating, and that's kind of what I thought too. I thought it's a possibility. It's just it's letting my mind go off on this, you know. And part of me is wondering too, because I really don't think she's going to survive the series. That's my personal opinion.
I don't think so either.
But I have a feeling, if this will be a redemption story arc for her.
Now, that's interesting. Could it be a redemption? Because, see, I wasn't going for redemption.
Yeah.
Okay, so here was my take on it. I was with you. I don't think she's going to survive the series.
Yeah.
But my reasoning is, I think her big goal isn't to be the next Grand Inquisitor. I think her big goal is to be the second to Darth Vader. I think she wants to be the apprentice of Darth Vader. But that never seems to be a good thing to actually be.
No, it's not. It's not. Too many people, force choke, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I have the feeling that if that's what she's going for, in the end, he will take her out for any number of possible reasons, which could be a redemption arc. Well, if she comes to some,
but she seems like she's been hunting Kenobi for so long. So I keep thinking, for 10 years, okay, and they haven't been able to find him for 10 years. I mean, the other Inquisitors wanted to give up, and she didn't. And my deal is it because she is so hungry to be the second in command, the apprentice of Darth Vader, or is there something that happened that she has this vengeance towards Kenobi?
Kenobi didn't come and save me.
Something happened. You know, maybe the Jedi Order, her lost her faith, because many of the Inquisitors are former Jedis.
Yes,
and that's turned to the dark side. So anyway, that's
and one thing I thought was interesting. This is another one of those photos that's hard to see, but she basically sees a rebel symbol scrawled on the wall there.
It's actually that's actually a Jedi symbol right there.
Oh, is that the Jedi symbol?
Yes.
Okay. And she gets very, very upset.
Oh yeah.
By seeing that symbol.
Yeah.
So the idea of a redemption arc for her is not a bad idea. Yeah. I kind of like that.
I could see that. I
hadn't gone there, but yeah, that could be good. Gonna have to be a fast turnaround. We only got 3 episodes left, so if she's gonna feel, and they're selling this as a limited series.
Yeah, this is it.
There's not going to be another season.
Yeah, this is it. So I just find that interesting. So I don't know. I think it'd be cool to be a redemption there somehow. But yeah, I mean, you only got 3 episodes left, so you might, you better get going on the whole,
Well, since we're talking about the Grand Inquisitors,
yes,
we do have a couple of other Inquisitors. We've got this guy,
Hammerhead,
who is basically her rival in the Inquisitors. They're at odds all the time, and obviously they're vying for the next place. And then we have the Grand Inquisitor.
Exactly.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know a lot about Rebels.
Yeah.
Other than space whales. Let's be honest. I have not watched a lot of Rebels. What I've watched, I've enjoyed. But we've got the Grand Inquisitor in Rebels.
Yes.
And this is supposed to be the Grand Inquisitor.
Yes.
My assumption was this is supposed to be the same Grand Inquisitor. But in episode 3, it appears he dies.
Yeah.
But I thought Rebels happened after this. Do I have something wrong?
And the thing is, yes, I mean, you don't have anything wrong, and that's been the big debate. How can the Grand Inquisitor, die if he becomes a major villain besides Thrawn in Rebels? And so, and they had, I think, I read something here where they were going into talking about that. Basically, the comment was, and I'm trying to think of the actual, I think the actual actor, the actual producer, but basically he was saying that that they are going to stay with canon. Now, when they tell me they're going to stay with canon, that tells me that somehow he's either going to survive or they're going to heal him some way. Because we know that Star Wars universe can heal people. You can ask
cybernetics are a big thing.
You can ask Finnick, yes. So
or Darth Vader himself,
exactly. So
who is more man than machine, as they say in the movies.
Yeah. So I definitely think, because right now they're following canon so much to Rebels. I mean, it's funny that this show Rebels, which a lot of people after the animated series of the Clone Wars didn't really care for, because the art, to me, I prefer the
art style changed significantly, and the time difference. The people that I know that are huge Rebels fans tend to be a younger audience.
Yes, exactly.
Who are just now coming into their own to a Star Wars universe, where they're starting to be the young adults going to see the movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I do have one other possible, and this is really lame, but a lot of people made the comment that the Grand Inquisitor doesn't look exactly like he did in Rebels, blah, blah, blah. And so my thought is, well, maybe it's a different guy.
Yeah.
Just happens to be the same species. And the next, so that would explain the differences in his looks.
Well, and they did.
I don't think that's true. But
no, I don't think so too. I mean, they did the same thing with Bane. Book of Boba Fett. I mean, come on. This is, what do you expect them to have that pinhead? They did the same with Count Dooku. I mean, come on. Animated series Count Dooku versus the real actor Count Dooku. I mean, there's a big difference there, folks.
Yes.
So anyway, I do believe either he survives. Now, someone was telling me that his particular species, and I can't remember the species name, but they have 2 stomachs. Now, anybody out there who can correct me on that or affirm what I'm saying, please make it in the comments. Grand Inquisitor, does his species have 2 stomachs, which could explain some things? I don't know. So anyway, we'll see. But he definitely, I almost bet anything that he is going to continue. I mean, I don't think the last of him. It's a very rich character. I was really shocked that he was killed that early in the episodes. But again, if they stay true to the canon, like Fabio was saying, Filoni was saying, then that's going to be a continuation. He's going to make it to he's in Rebels, and I'm sure he's going to become part of the continued canon of it all. So, but anyway, if anyone knows or want to comment, if I said anything that's, fact check us, let me know. But yeah, so
what do you think? What do you think about this storyline? When we first heard about this, and we saw little glimpses of, Kenobi watching over young Luke.
Yeah.
Did you think this was going to be a Kenobi, young Luke, defending Tatooine kind of show?
Oh, yeah. Leia
rather
Leia,
than
yes,
being
exactly.
a Leia show. This is the Leia show.
Which,
by the way, this little actor is amazing.
Oh, she is amazing. I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of child actors because it's as campy and it's as over the top, like Full House. Okay. But she is awesome. She's
so good.
And if I had to pick someone who would be, an adolescent Princess Leia, she fits it. She fits the bill.
Oh my goodness,
she's so good.
She's good, and she's so well written.
Yes.
It's like, okay, you're not going to talk, and then she just takes over.
Yeah. You mean I don't like? You mean I can't talk? I don't. I mean,
You mean I don't talk much? I don't want to talk, or I don't talk, and then she just completely ignores him.
Totally ignore him, and yeah.
It feels like the kind of thing when you get to Carrie Fisher's character in A New Hope. It feels like this is the kind of character she would have been.
Oh, exactly.
Like, she is the kind of person who looks Darth Vader in the face and just yells at him.
Exactly.
With no fear at all.
Yeah. No, exactly.
That is what this little girl is.
Yeah. Exactly. And of course, we see more of Alderaan than we ever seen before.
Yes.
It's not in pieces. It's actually a beautiful place.
Yep. We get to see the Organas.
Which is interesting because, the Organas, of course, Jimmy Smith, he's,
every time I see him, all I can think of is Law and Order.
Law and Order, I know. I know. He was on the West Wing, too, and I think of him then. But, yeah, so he returns to play Organa, which is interesting. There was a scene I thought was interesting, and there's little Easter eggs that I think is really interesting. There was a point where, and I love the scene where little Leia just totally puts a smack down on her cousin.
Oh yes,
in a party.
It's brilliant.
And you can see a little politics. Basically, the Organas invite someone from a cousin from the Senate, and they shows up, and of course Jimmy Smith, who plays Organa, he wants to talk about injustice in the Empire. Because at the time there is a Senate. It was still governed by a Senate. And he had an agenda what he wants to deal with slavery and taxation. Of course, his colleague in the Senate really didn't care, and he says, "Save that for the Senate." And so
I'm just here to eat your food.
I'm just here to eat your food. So, but I was there was this point where he was talking to out in the balcony. Organa was talking to Leia, and she was, there was talking about how when he was young, he would go out and he wanted to go after the pergola.
Yes.
And I thought, what is that? I looked it up. It's those giant space whales from Rebels.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not going to play it again, folks, so that's okay. But I
heard him say that.
Yeah.
But it did not connect with me. But yes, that is exactly what they
are.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, he talked about it. He said when he was young, he wanted to, capture
There's
pergolas
so
and ride them, and
this.
it really is. And so really good. But there's so many little great scenes.
My favorite little Easter egg is this. That is C-3PO.
Exactly.
I don't know how many people caught it. Honestly, you can't hear him, so you don't hear the voice. And there are other protocol droids, and they all kind of look the same. But if you turn on the closed captions, this one literally says C-3PO translating in other language. Yeah,
exactly. There was another, I did not see it, but coming from the report, and I think it was IGN, looking through IMDb, it says there was 8 minutes and 55 seconds of Mark Hamill Skywalker, Mark Hamill has an uncredited cameo as a hooded figure walking to the left of Obi-Wan's head. I have no clue. This was IMDb under their trivia section.
Is this one of those Mark Hamill just showed up on set?
And they said, "Hey,
you want to be on? You want to put on a
little
a cowl and
I guess
hide
so.
out?
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, that doesn't seem out of character for what I've seen from Mark Hamill before either. He seems to really honestly love the fandom and enjoy being it. What do you think about Owen and this character?
I think this character is awesome. It really sets the tone of the New Hope. His attitude in New Hope. You understand more and more his understanding that he really understands Anakin. Anakin was his brother. And one of my favorite things in it, he's, where, Obi-Wan wants to know how he's doing. And of course, Oren said, you don't care how he's doing. You want to know if he's showing or not. And we're talking about being more force sensitive. And he says, well, that was the agreement. When he comes of age, I will train him. And he said, Owen says back to Kenobi, like Anakin. And I mean, that was a brutal moment.
Yes.
And of course, prior to that understanding, he throws the toy. There's a toy that Kenobi bought from Jawa. But that toy also shows up in New Hope. It's the same type of, I don't know what class of toy that was. It was a
little fighter
T-16 Skyhopper model.
Yeah.
And it was the same one Luke plays in the original Star Wars film. Little stuff like that is really, I love those little details. But that was awesome. I mean, it was, and you see it. I think Owen is a great character. And when Reva confronted Owen, he wasn't a weakling. He was strong.
Yeah. I am impressed that he is such a good actor.
Yes.
He was picked. He was chosen.
Yeah.
Like his first thing on screen for Star Wars is, it's just a few moments.
Yeah, it was.
And he really doesn't have any
doesn't say anything,
lines.
No.
And
they're just handed the baby.
And then they go, you know what? We got to bring that guy back.
Yeah.
To these other things. And he's honestly a really good actor.
Good actor.
And it's one of those moments where you're really happy that the casting director bothered to figure out to pick a really good actor to have a moment in a movie with no lines.
Exactly.
Versus picking just anybody who might have an okay look.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, he doesn't have any lines. He doesn't really have to act. He just has to look the part.
No, and it's, Yeah, I love this character, and
I do too. He's killing it.
He's killing it, and he is. I mean, one of my favorite scenes is him and Reva, and I love the part where she's trying to coerce where the Jedi is at, and it's funny because she walks by, and for a minute, I'm sure she feels something in the Force, on the dark side, and looks at Owen and comes to him, and he does a great job, playing as he doesn't know who's the Jedi. It's really good, and afterwards when she leaves, Ben says, thank you, Owen. He said, I wasn't doing it for you. He was doing it for Luke.
Yeah.
There's so much great lines and dialogue in this.
Yes.
I mean,
we're still in episode 1.
Yes, episode 1. I don't you love that the part where the Inquisitor says the Jedis hunt themselves?
Yes.
They can't help it. It's an itch. They can't help it.
Yep. They will reveal themselves. So what did you think about Flea popping up on the
that was hilarious.
There's so many little cameos. We've got Flea, and we've got we got Zach Braff of all people.
Yeah,
showing
exactly.
up as Freck.
Yeah.
The Imperial Mole.
Yeah. What did you think of? I know this a little bit later, but Kamali Nanjiani.
Yes,
plays Haja Estri. And and the thing is, we were talking about before the show.
Wait. Adria says Wikipedia says Pawan. I can't pronounce that name. Do have two stomachs.
Awesome.
So you're not.
Thank
wrong.
you, Andrea. Thank you. That helps.
Okay, so I have a picture of. Yes, this is an interesting character.
It is interesting, and it was almost. I loved it. He has magnets and he's closing, and he's
the fake Jedi.
Fake Jedi, and for some reason he actually, I think it's kind of odd how quickly he changes his attitude.
Well, so it's interesting. He's the fake Jedi.
Fake Jedi, yes.
But he is a rebel.
Yes.
So is he actually maybe a Jedi?
I don't know.
Hides the fact that he's a Jedi?
Well,
what's interesting, IMDb has him listed in 4 episodes.
I know exactly. Well, he confronted. Yeah.
Now it could be they have deceived us before.
Oh, definitely they have.
Where it will say 4 episodes or 6 episodes.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you find out really no, it was really only 1, and they just change it after the fact.
Exactly.
But that would be interesting to have him show back up as at least a rebel.
At least a rebel. I just found it interesting how he was making money off of other people playing a Jedi. But I think
he was getting them out.
He was getting them out.
He was legitimately getting them out.
Yeah.
But he was just
making
he was making some money, and he was
a
kind
of money.
Lying to them, but he was legitimately helping them escape.
Yeah, with all the money they have, exactly. Yes. But I mean, I think it had to do when Haja found out that you are truly a Jedi, and something changed there, and maybe there's something to do with his past.
The fact that Obi-Wan came back and said his name, and said, "You remembered my name."
Exactly.
That was an
scene.
Interesting little comment that it was that was like, wait, you care about people.
But didn't you remember, what did you think about the scene? Because I thought Haja was going to hunt him down to get a reward, because there was that point where the young kid came in and says, hey, there's a bounty on this guy.
I thought so too.
So I thought, well, here we go, but
I thought he was just going to turn into another bounty hunter.
Exactly.
On the run. And honestly, the minute I saw that, I was like, all right, he's going to die in this episode.
Exactly. Exactly.
But then, when he shoots the other bounty hunter,
exactly,
and then, tries to distract Reva for like 5 seconds, because he's horrible at it.
Which I'm surprised he lived through that. But
yes, and that's my thing is, it doesn't appear she killed him.
No.
So the idea that he could come back in the next 3 episodes, totally doable.
Oh, I think so. Well, IMDb shows that information. So
I'm just saying they've lied before.
No, exactly.
I used to say IMDb doesn't lie, but no, they lie.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, I know a little bit about IMDb.
Yeah.
If you're a pro, IMDb pro, which the guys that do this stuff are, and when I say that, I mean you pay a fee to be a pro.
Yeah.
If you are part of a movie, you can just go in and make changes.
Oh, well, there you go. You can hide whatever you want.
Yes. So Disney legitimately can go in, put in anything they want, and then come back a week later and change all of it. And it's perfectly fine, and IMDb doesn't control it. I've put my movies in, and I've made changes, my short films, and it's just the way they do it. So.
Okay, now you talked about something earlier, and I'm going to, we'll call it James Earl Jones Gate.
Yes.
There was some stuff there. I was reading, there was a trivia that I was reading, and it was IMDb, and it was talking about how, for the first time, it says the first time since Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, that Hayden Christensen and James Earl Jones have collaborated to play the character Darth Vader. But I'll let you carry this.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions.
Yeah,
there.
Go ahead.
Number one, is Hayden Christensen actually in the suit the whole time?
Well, see, that's what I don't know.
A stunt double?
Well, and if
because we talk about the Mandalorian, 9 times out of 10, the guy standing in the suit is not
exactly.
What's his face? Is not. Oh my goodness, my brain is falling out of my head. 9 times out of 10, the guy standing in the suit is the stunt double.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the actual actor.
Exactly.
So I'm curious as to who is really in the suit, number one. But number two is that you mentioned that, but reports that quote James Earl Jones saying he never did voice work for Revenge of the Sith. And he doesn't know where they got that voice from. He doesn't know if somebody else imitated him or if it was some computer-generated thing.
Gotcha.
Well, in the credits of this is the 3rd episode.
Exactly.
In the credits of the 3rd episode, they credit Respeecher for providing voice conversion services.
There you go.
Now, what does that mean? They don't know.
Well,
but they do credit James Earl Jones for the voice. So,
well, it sounds like to me the stuff they've been pulling on the Luke Skywalker.
I know.
Pull on Luke Skywalker. They've done this on other things.
I think unless James Earl Jones steps up and says, "Yeah, I never came into the studio to record any of that," we may never know what they did, and it could easily be a combination of an imitator. And taking original dialogue and one of these systems that takes all the different sounds and puts them together to create new words. There's all sorts of little nuances they could use to make it more convincing. And honestly, voice is a whole lot easier to imitate than the video.
Exactly. Going back to what we were talking about, is Hayden Christensen actually in the Vader suit, or is it a stunt double or someone else like we talked about in The Mandalorian? But I remember seeing there was not a promo doc, whatever they do, and Edwin McGregor, he basically said seeing Anakin in the suit again brought chills in my spine or something like that. So he referred to Hayden Christensen being in there. I don't know. It seems, but I'm not saying that's what it is. I mean, it seems odd to me. I mean, how do you see Hayden Christensen? It's almost like it's this weird. He's in the suit. Anybody could be in the suit. I mean, there's.
Well, as we all know, Darth Vader was played by Prowse in the original movies.
Exactly.
And James Earl Jones did the voice.
Exactly.
And
there's a story.
Lore is that Prowse didn't even know his voice wasn't being used until the movie came out. Yeah, everything I'm saying, is there's comments that, Hayden Christensen reacts to wearing the Darth Vader suit again.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, for the most part, he probably is wearing the suit. So. And then, from time to time, there might be a stunt double.
Yeah,
but,
I mean they did have the scene on the mining colony where he sees a vision of Hayden or Anakin. So there was that one scene on the So anyway, so that's interesting to me. Mustafar, yeah, he's on Mustafar. I'm guessing he's on Mustafar.
Yeah, that's my guess.
Yeah,
and let's see. We do get the where is it? There it is. We get that first shot of him lighting up his lightsaber.
Yeah.
And it's on at that point. And then finally, Obi-Wan lights up his lightsaber.
I do find it interesting, though. I've never seen Darth Vader run before, so how he's able to get in front of Obi-Wan, I'm not for sure. It's almost like running from Frankenstein. Frankenstein can only go so fast. Anyway,
so
I just thought that was funny.
This shot right here is interesting. And so is this. Notice, so if you watch the original trilogy, 4, 5, and 6, Darth Vader only fights with one hand, with his lightsaber. But in the prequels, he's trained by people like Obi-Wan to use both hands.
Yeah.
So I thought it was interesting that as soon as he has the suit on, he has now changed to this new style of fighting where he only fights with one hand.
Yeah.
And he has his other hand to, do his Jedi pushes.
Yeah, his pushes.
So I thought that was kind of interesting that it's somebody had the forethought to think, hey, Hayden, you have to fight differently now because you're in the suit. And I wonder, thinking back almost 50 years now, 45 years, I wonder if Darth Vader fights with one hand.
Yeah.
Because it's too hard to fight with two hands in the suit.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like the whole Michael Keaton Batman in the suit.
He has to turn his whole body.
Turn his whole body.
His neck.
Yeah. One thing in that scene where Kenobi and Vader meet for the first time, well, in the episodes in that series, I like the part where Kenobi says, "What happened to you? What have you become?" And Anakin says, "I am what you made me."
Yes.
And I thought that was interesting there. And they had a little.
They are pounding away. At Kenobi's psyche.
Yeah.
And that this is all his fault.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's why, part of the story, past 10 years, the situation where, Kenobi basically didn't exercise the Force. And you can tell.
Yes.
Even the beginning, by the way, we're kind of going up the beginning. What did you think about the prequel recap, episode 1? For trying to cram everything together that apparently people who have not seen the prequels.
I thought it was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think it was necessary, but it was probably okay. I almost think it would be more confusing for someone who had never watched anything than I almost feel like it would be more confusing.
Yeah, exactly.
But I kind of get why they did it. Somebody said, we probably should recap everything for those people who haven't ever seen any of the Star Wars movies or haven't watched them in a long time. But I'm I don't know that they needed to. It was a little bit of interesting nostalgia for 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think it was needed.
No, I think there's stuff in there that was good just to kind of be a reminder or just refresh our memory. Oh yeah, that's right, this scene and that scene. Anyway, it's one of those things where I was just curious what you thought about it. I thought it was okay. I just thought it was funny at first. It was almost like, let's try to compress the first 3, prequels into like in a 10-minute bit.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, and along with that, we talked about, the prequels, and, they're really kind of jamming it down our throats that this is all Obi-Wan's fault.
Yeah.
George Lucas has always said that everything should rhyme.
Yeah.
You shouldn't repeat it, but it should rhyme. And I think that's kind of, I think this is attempting that almost too much. But so it's like, when Obi-Wan meets the Jedi, he says, you should take that thing into the middle of the desert and bury it. That's what I think you should do.
Exactly.
So then he has literally done that.
Exactly.
And he has to go get it. Has to go pull it back. And I do love this scene because, we see there is Anakin's lightsaber that will one day belong to Luke.
Yeah. That was a good scene.
So we've got that,
it's a good scene.
That things rhyme. Then we've got, there was another, then we've got this scene,
Mustafar 1.4. Yeah.
Yes.
Payback time.
Where it's like, you burned me in fire. Now I will burn you in fire.
And I think that was totally intentional. I mean, that was,
see
how it feels. You're going to be in pain.
Yeah.
A lot of people are arguing with the situation when Obi-Wan, the lady who saves him. Now, we talked about that earlier. Tala, who was the, an Empire officer, who basically, she's became part of the resistance, or kind of an underground railroad, almost, basically. Kind of basically underground railroad for force sensitive people. That's where eventually Reva sees the marking of the Jedi in this hideout.
Yes.
And it goes back to that. And so, of course, in that situation, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, the actress here that plays Tala hints that at some point in the rewrites, that she was actually supposed to be a love interest for Obi-Wan. But that was eventually written out.
Yeah, I think that would have been a mistake.
I don't know if it would have been a mistake. I think it could have been an interesting storyline.
Yeah.
But with 6 episodes, I don't think you have the time.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It would have felt too rushed and too forced. If this was multiple seasons, and one season was dedicated to this love story that they create, that might have made sense.
I think of, and I'm not going to remember her name. She was the Mandalorian queen or princess. That was his true love. If you remember in not Rebels, but it was in the Clone Wars animated series. He had a true love, and it was her. And so anyway, they could have gone that direction. I'm glad they didn't, especially in the small span of time that they have to work with.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I think that's, but there was a scene where she basically she has it was a loader, and I guess the loader was part of
Ned B,
who was basically aligned with her. And he comes in and he saves Obi-Wan. Of course, she shoots, as a marksman and creates an explosion.
Yeah, and here they are.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Kind of hard to see. It's a little dark.
But some people were complaining. Here's Vader on the other side of the flames. Here are these flames, and they're taking off with Obi-Wan. We're thinking, well, why can't Vader just brings them back over into the fire? Any thoughts on that kind of debate when people say that? I mean, there's, one person said, well, the Force is energy. It drains you a little bit. You have to have it, build up again. But, we've seen Vader. I mean, he's kicking butt with the Force. So, he doesn't have a whole lot of,
This is a instance where Obi-Wan has plot armor.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan must survive to fight again.
Yeah, exactly.
Fight another day. So that's, that is the reason this is happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's the way the writers wrote it.
I mean,
and whether or not it's possible or should have happened this other way,
exactly.
I'm just.
Or was Vader, was Anakin conflicted? I don't think so. But anyway.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe this is one of those, I'm going to let you live for one more day. Good work, Wesley.
Yeah.
I'll probably kill you in the morning. Kind of ideas.
I don't know if you have this or not. It was one of my favorite scenes. I think it was on the second episode. Do you have the clone trooper veteran photo anywhere?
I do. Let me find it. Oh, I do have one other thing I wanted to talk about on that.
Yeah.
Old clone trooper.
Okay, now just a little bit on this. Tamara Morrison, who played in the Book of Boba Fett, that's actually him.
That is him. I wasn't sure. The makeup is so heavy and the beard and the voice sounded like him, but I couldn't quite tell if it was just somebody made up or not.
One of the things I was talking with somebody, and Obi-Wan's reaction when the clone is asking him for a handout, can you help an old war veteran? And you could see the kind of a little bit of panic behind Obi-Wan's eyes going, these are the guys who were ordered to come kill us. Now, interesting, at this point, I don't think Obi-Wan knew about the chip. If you watch the end of Clone War, the animated Clone Wars with Ahsoka, she understood the chip, and the clones understood the chips. And of course, in the Bad Batch, the chip was taken out within that series.
Right.
And so, but I don't know if Obi-Wan really understood that the clones had this chip that forces them to turn against the Jedis, and when Order 66 was initiated. So there was kind of to me, that was an interesting scene. To me, it was like, here's a clone veteran. And he represents these guys that been basically they've I guess let me I'm gonna see here. I had a thought here on that. Really, what it comes down to, these guys were misled, and here they are. If you look at it from a veteran's point of view, they were just left. They had their use, and their
useful time was over,
and there was no, there was nothing. They were just put on the curb, and so it's interesting. And when I saw this, I thought to myself, and I don't know if they will or not, but I hope they do a live action. Somehow they bring in Captain Rex, who was from the Clone War. He was in the Clone Wars as far as the animated series. He was in Rebels. And he also was in the Bad Batch, in the animated. So when I saw that, I thought, could be great. I saw that. Of course, I knew that wasn't Rex in there because of the timeline with the Rebels and all that stuff. But I thought that's a possibility. I mean, it definitely will keep Tamara Morris in business. Playing clones.
They are keeping him in business like nobody's business.
Yeah, so I mean that's good for him, and I think that's awesome. I think it's good, and I love how they made a nod to the clones.
Yes,
I like how they made a nod to the clones. So that, to me, that spoke. I love that Easter egg or that reference. So
speaking of Easter eggs, I think this is my favorite Easter egg of all. This spice seller.
Yeah.
Says, I was someone's daughter once too.
Yeah.
And she's talking to Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And she is actually Ewan McGregor's daughter.
Exactly. And that's pretty cool.
That's a nice little, that's a fun little Easter egg. I got to have a scene with my daughter.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
And then she makes a daughter comment, in the whole scene is about a daughter. And then she makes a daughter comment. It's a nice little nod there. I thought it was kind of cool.
No, I really liked that. I thought that was really a cool moment. And it's funny that she's also related to, both of them related to the guy who played Wedge Antilles.
Yes.
You know, so I thought it's just really interesting how you have these connections. And so, and of course, you know, Wedge Antilles, I can't remember, was it Lawson? I can't remember the man's name. I want to say it was Lawson. You know, this was before the prequels, you know, before the prequel movies. So I thought it was interesting, the connection and all that. So that's kind of neat. So,
so any other thoughts or last words?
Honestly, I like, so far I'm really into the series. I like where it's going.
I do too.
You know, anytime me and you've talked about, okay, how are they going to wrap this up? Because we've done this, I know, many, you know, from Moon Knight to what have you,
and we're always
Disney.
wrong.
Always wrong. How are you going to wrap it up? Like like the Book of Boba Fett, they ended up being, you know, partly the Mandalorian, you know, Baby Yoda show. But I'm, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking, how are they going to wrap this up in 3 episodes? And of course, to the point, they always do. So, but I don't know, being a one-time run, you know, there's no cliffhangers.
So I'm not expecting the next 2 episodes to be all about Mandalorian.
No,
and we forget all about Ben.
No, I don't think so.
I do like the fact that, you know, it says part 1, part 2, part 3.
Yeah.
This doesn't feel like Mandalorian is an episodic show.
Yeah.
You can sit down and watch an episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Generally, you could watch an episode. It would make sense start to finish.
Yeah.
There might be a deeper story that's being told along the way, but it all makes sense.
Yeah.
This is not that way.
No, it's not. It's almost like you could put it together and it could be a movie.
You could watch this as a not really 6 hours, because it's like 45-minute episodes or whatever that equals. 45 minutes times 6. You could watch this as one movie.
Exactly.
And it would feel cohesive and make sense.
Exactly.
And I like the way they're doing that. And it definitely has the feeling that this is a one shot. I don't think we're going to get another Ewan McGregor TV show.
I don't think so.
This might spin off some other shows, maybe some of these characters start showing up in other shows.
Yeah.
But I like where it's going. Where is it going to go? I don't think Reva is going to survive the series. I'm not sure why. I like your idea that she gets a redemption arc, but I think if she gets a redemption arc, that even gives us more reason for Darth Vader to kill her at the last moment.
Yeah.
Kill her for her treason.
Yeah.
Then we've got, you know, I mean, we all know the stake. Some people are complaining, well, the stakes aren't very high because we know Leia survives. We know Obi-Wan survives. We know Anakin survives. Yes, we know they all survive, but we don't know how.
Exactly.
That's the interesting part is how do they survive?
Yes, exactly.
And so we know that they're all going to survive.
Yes.
I would love to see at the last moment Leia somehow be the hero.
Yeah.
The little heroine that she is, you know, somehow at the last minute, she does something that sets in motion, you know, she has befriended some goofy robot that she was polite to, and the robot comes in to save the day. Yeah. And in the end, it's not going to be Obi-Wan that saves the day.
Exactly.
You know,
that'd be fun.
So I think that's the way I would love to see it end.
You know, for me right now, if you want to do a whole 5-star thing, for me, it's been a 4.5 for me. You know, I don't usually, it's been a 4.5, you know, I really enjoy it. And I think before people are quick to judge, you know, that's the thing. This is more like a movie, you know, it's, you know, it's like a very long Star Wars movie, like they did with the Justice League. I mean, probably not as long, but, But yeah, so far I love the characters. I love the actors that they brought in. I think the Reva actress is doing a good job. I think I love the guy who plays Owen, Princess Leia, the little princess, outstanding. It's just a really good cast, and they didn't skimp on production. I feel like I'm watching a movie. It's really quality.
I'm right there with you. I'm maybe between a 4 and a 4.5. It's definitely up there, and I'm right there with you. It does feel like watching a movie. It doesn't feel like they skimped any. It doesn't feel like they cut corners.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're using the crap out of that volume.
Oh, I bet.
But man, it's convincing.
Yes, it is.
It's so convincing.
It is. Yeah.
There was one shot that felt a little wonky to me.
Yeah.
But in the end, I watched I rewound it and watched it again, and I couldn't decide if it felt wonky because they did something, they were cutting corners, or if they were trying to make it feel that way because it was kind of a disorienting moment anyway.
Yeah.
It was kind of a push in on Obi-Wan at this one point. And it kind of, I don't know, the background kind of moved around weird, and I couldn't tell if that was a volume weirdness, or if they did it on purpose because he's disoriented, so you want them to be disoriented. They want the audience to be disoriented.
Yeah.
But I mean, things like this where, Darth Vader is suddenly fighting with the single hand.
Yeah, exactly. A little subtle.
They're taking time to make things, to bring little things back that make sense. We get a shot of their little rotating lightsaber umbrella things just briefly. This is one of my favorite shots.
I love it.
Honestly.
It says everything, doesn't it?
Yes. The sudden realization that Anakin is actually alive.
Yeah. And
that shot right there, that really sold me that for Kenobi, everything has changed.
Yeah, exactly.
His entire life now has changed.
Yeah.
For the last 10 years, everything he thought was true isn't.
Yeah. And
I think it's great writing.
I think so too. I think excellent writing. You ever think he's going to get Qui-Gon?
I think he will get that to happen, but I bet it's not until the last episode.
To the end, when he has like that Rocky scene where he's getting ready for the fight, he's all forcing it up, building up his force.
Do you think we're gonna get a prep montage?
Da-da-da, he's the best. He's a Jedi. He gets around. He's in the Force. Yes, he is.
Oh my gosh! I so hope we don't.
I know.
That sounds so
real
lame.
like an 80s campy training, using the
training
Force.
montage. It's time for the training montage. Oh, Lord, I hope we don't get that. That sounds awful.
I like it.
I kind of want it to happen now.
Yeah, just
because.
Just for my entertainment. So, besides that, I got nothing else except
I don't either. I'm really loving it.
Yeah, I love it too.
Can't wait till next Wednesday. And next week we will talk about episode 4.
Yes, that's right, episode 4.
So,
and be Friday nights. Yeah, it'll be Friday nights. Would be 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern time. You can catch us, all our material, all our stuff. It's on speakingnerdy.com. You'll have our audio podcast there. You can even watch the podcast as well.
And the audio podcast comes out every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
So definitely subscribe on your favorite podcasting app.
That's right, my friends. So, man, we accomplished so much within a little bit past over an hour. Which
I know.
Which I was, hey, I was not impressed. Surprised. I'm impressed. So much. Thank you for joining the show, everybody. Please, next time, join us again and make your comments. Say hello. Let's make it interactive with you guys. So that's all I have to say. Yeah.
All right. Let's do it.
Let's do this thing.
It's the Speaking Nerdy Podcast with your host, Mr. Mike Schilling.
And my good friend and compadre, Mr. Ricky Poe. But really, it's my birthday.
Hey, speaking of birthdays,
what did he get?
My daughter got me this for my birthday. It's not Star Wars,
cool.
but
it's Marvel.
She got me a Defender Strange.
Oh, that's so nice.
For a movie he hasn't even seen yet.
Oh, you just got busted. Busted.
Well,